Today we're at the home of the Tylube Brown Motorsports race shop, and we're going to install a piston clip on a Wiseco piston. The first thing I do when I get my piston is I take everything out of the box and make sure I've got all the parts that are needed. When you get your Wiseco piston, you'll get a piston pin, 2 circlips, your piston rings, and don't forget about your installation instructions. Okay, we're going to start by installing our first circlip. This one can be done on the workbench, it doesn't need to be done in the engine. I always try to install my piston circlips so the gap is pointing towards the top or the bottom. We can do the top today. Normally I can do it mostly with my fingers. I'll start with one tip and I try and place it in the groove, and then I'll squeeze it with my thumbs as far down as I can. And sometimes, as this one here is almost all the way in, I can just tap it and now it's in. Finishing it with a little pick into the groove, making sure it's in the groove, just looking all the way around it, and then I'll try and give it a little twist just to push it into the groove a little bit more. Just give it a little twist and it just seats it in there really good. Okay, some of the important issues you need to keep in mind when you're putting in your piston clip is not to nick up the inside of the piston, not to make burrs up inside the piston pin groove, and also not to overstress the clip when you're trying to install it. Sometimes the tension on the clip, which acts like a spring inside there, if you just force it in too much, you can reduce the tension and the piston will want to vibrate out. I always try to avoid using screwdrivers, or if you have to use a screwdriver, I recommend using the absolute smallest one you can find, not to bend the clip too much when you're installing it, and not to gouge or put any nicks inside your piston groove.
For more information on the products featured here, please head to our website, denniskirk.com.